Well, I got a call from his friend Chet. Chet said, Ollie, man, I got a mystery of my own now. I said, all right. Well, what's going on? He said, somebody's been breaking into my apartment while I'm sleeping. I said, oh man, that sounds stressful. No, right? Yeah, it's bad. It's like I don't feel safe in my own home. It's terrible. And it's been like almost every night for the past week. I said, all right, well, what are they taking? So that's the thing, man. They just like make themselves a snack. It looks like weird snacks. Cause I'll get up in the morning and I'll find that my kitchen's all like trashed. There's bread and out. Like one morning I found it was like bread was out, peanut butter out was out, and mustard was out. And that's weird, man. And another morning I found was like hot dogs and peanut butter. And yet another morning it was just dry oats scattered everywhere. It's the weirdest thing, man. It's like somebody's breaking into my house to have weird, drunk person snacks or whatever. And like they don't take any stuff. My stereo's still there, my guitar is still there, my computer's still there. They just make a weird snack and then leave. I don't even know if they're eating the snack here. I said, all right. That does sound disturbing. And you sleep right through it. I said, yeah, that's also weird, right? I mean, like, I'm a pretty deep sleeper, but you'd think at least once I would have noticed, heard somebody come in. It's creeping me out, man. Like, why is this person bothering me? I said, yeah, that would creep me out, too. Well, tell you what, it sounds like I should do a stakeout. I said, if you would, man, that would be so great. It's like hard to even go to sleep at this point, because it's weird trying to go to sleep knowing that somebody's probably going to break into your house again. So I went over there. The first thing he did was he checked the doorknob to look and see if there were scratch marks, like someone had been picking it, or other signs that somebody had been, getting in that way. But it's hard to tell. It's kind of an old doorknob. There were lots of scratches around the keyhole anyway, which happens sometimes. That was kind of inconclusive. Well, I went in, and Chet was cleaning up. He's like, oh, Ollie, here you are. Cool, good to see you, man. Thank you. I said, oh, you're cleaning up the mess that the breaking and entering person made last night. Said, oh, shoot, I should have left it so you could. I said, yeah, that would have been better. It's all right, though. It's all right. We'll figure it out. I've got a plan that I think is going to work anyway. Awesome, dude, awesome. Well, so I guess you kind of want to look around and see what you see. I said, yeah. I'm going to dust for prints a little bit. I'm not trying to make too big of a mess of things, though. So I dusted for prints, and he didn't see any prints they didn't make sense. It was Chet's fingerprints and Chet's girlfriend's fingerprints, and a handful of their mutual friends and family. Yeah. And when Ollie finished that up, he was looking around at the same time for a place he might do a stakeout. He was thinking this was probably going to be a stakeout case. And he found a spot that he felt pretty good about. He said, all right, Chet, I'm going to head out for a while. What time do you go to bed? I usually go to bed like 10:30. I said, all right, I'll show up about 10:15. And yeah, I'll do a stakeout. We'll see what we can see. Do you want me to tackle the person? Or do you want me to just try and get a good look at them? It's going to be hard to get a good look at them if they're doing it at night. Although there's the light in the fridge. I said, whatever you think, man. I mean, I don't want, they're not hurting me, so I don't necessarily want to hurt them, but they do need to stop. I said, yeah, that makes sense. Well, I'll just kind of play it by ear then. So Ollie came back about 10:15, like he said, and they had a a nice cocktail together. We just had Boulevardiers. I said, no, I don't want to, it's going to be best for this if you don't upset your routine. So even though I'm here, you don't need to stay up and entertain me. You go ahead and go to bed in your normal routine, and I'm going to start my stakeout. I said, all right, that's cool, man, that's cool. All right, well, yeah, so all right, good night. I said, good night. I'll see you in the morning, Chet. So Chet sort of puttered around. Excuse me. Brushed his teeth, got into his PJs, washed his face. Normal stuff, no big deal. Used the bathroom. And then he was leaving the bathroom and sort of waved at Ollie. I said, all right, yeah, I'm turning in for real now. Good night. I said, good night. And Chet went into his bedroom and closed the door. Ollie climbed up in a spot that he'd figured out. It was kind of on top of the fridge. Underneath the cabinet, there's a little bit of a gap there. Ollie figured he could hide. He could still see pretty well from there. When he got up there, though, he saw that he couldn't see in front of the fridge. And he was realizing that the light from the fridge is going to be the best light he's going to get as far as identifying the person. So instead, Ollie climbed up higher, up to the top of the cabinets, where there was a bit of a gap between the cabinets and the ceiling. There, Ollie could see the whole kitchen, including in front of the fridge. It still might be a little bit hard to get a good look at the face, but it was worth a shot. And then Ollie settled in for a nice, long stakeout. And he sat, and he waited. And he sat, and he waited. And he thought about all kinds of things. Ollie actually enjoyed stakeouts, enjoyed the peace of it, the quiet. And then, right about 3 a.m., he heard something. A couple of light thuds. A scritching, scratching noise. And then the sound of a door handle turning. I looked at the front door. He'd taped a piece of hair across the front door, between the door and the jamb. Because then if the door opened, the hair would be pulled out, so even if Ollie missed it, he would know whether or not somebody came in that way. But he looked at the front door, and he couldn't quite see the front door from where he was, but he looked, and no one came through. I was looking so hard at the front door, he nearly missed. There was all of a sudden a figure there in the room, shambling toward the kitchen. Ollie almost leapt a little bit when he saw. He couldn't quite tell who it was or how they got there. Ollie kicked himself for paying so much attention to the door. He should have been watching. This person almost snuck up on him, except that this person didn't see him. The shuffling figure didn't move slowly, didn't move deliberately. Just kind of wandered over to the kitchen. It reached up and opened up a cabinet. The weird thing was, the person barely even looked up. Got down a box of raisins. And he reached, looked at the figure, reached over, pulled out a loaf of bread, and took out one slice, and dropped 2 more slices on the floor for no apparent reason. Slapped the slice right on the kitchen counter, no plate. Sprinkled it with raisins. And then the figure turned. They were wearing a long jacket or robe or something. And then the figure opened up the door. Pulled out some jelly and some hot pepper sauce. And that's when Ollie saw it. Not what he expected to see, but something that made a lot of sense. Figure closed the door, put the hot sauce and the jelly onto the bread, rolled it up like a burrito, and ate it. Then the figure expanded into the fridge, opened up a bottle of milk, poured it into a non-existent glass, and actually spilled it all over the countertop. Then left the milk on the countertop and shambled away. straight to the bedroom, which would have freaked Ollie out, because after all, that's where Chet was sleeping, except that what he saw when the fridge opened was Chet. His eyes mostly closed, glazed over. Chet was sleepwalking. Ollie put the milk away once Chet was back in bed. He wanted to leave most of it there, but there was no reason for all of Chet's milk to go sour by being left on the counter all night long. In the morning, Chet came out with a big yawn. Oh, hey, Ollie, you're still here. Did you see anything? Did somebody... Oh, I see somebody did come. They spotted the raisins and the bread and the milk. Oh, well, it's not as bad of a mess as it has been. So, how'd this day go? I mean, did you see who did this? I said, I did, Chet. And the good news is, the person doing this doesn't mean you any harm. I said, all right, I mean, that's good, but how do you know? I said, because, Chet, the person doing it is you. You're sleepwalking. You're sleepwalking out of your bedroom, making yourself a weird sleepwalking snack, eating it, leaving a mess, and going back to bed. Chet slapped his face on his palm and said, oh man, I did not expect that. That's not good. There's I found knives out and stuff. I should, what do you do about that, Ollie? I said, yeah, I don't know. You should probably talk to a sleep therapist or something. I know some people sleepwalk. People even sleep drive. It is something you got to get a control over. So I said, all right, well, I guess I'm lucky. I'm not sleep driving. I'm just sleep snacking. Makes a mess, but not putting anybody else in harm's way. So that's true. All right, Ollie, well, thank you, man. I guess I got a lot figured out yet, but yeah, well, I'm glad no one's breaking into my house. I said, no problem. Tell you what, I'll help you clean this up. Let's go out to breakfast. Coffee's on me. And that was the case of Ollie and the breakfast burglar.